Hello, this is Faith at Faith&books. I'm just going to do a very quick update on my reading so far in November. Most of it's nonfiction. I haven't really been reading that much this month, to tell you the truth. And in fact, one of the reasons for that was NaNoWriMo, and I officially stopped with that on Saturday. So, and I think I just reported that I got into over 20,000 words there. And as long as it was coming easily, it was great. But I really felt like I was neglecting other things that I should be focusing on. And honestly, it was a bucket list thing for me. So when I first did it back in 2014, I was kind of done with it. I was like, okay, I proved to myself that I can write, a first rough draft of a novel. But and so I just sort of did it on the spur of the moment. And I don't know if these are just excuses, but I decided it just wasn't worth my mental energy to pour into that when I had so many other things going on. So, and I just started this YouTube channel, and that's a whole new thing for me, and November's a busy month anyway. So anyway, so I stopped with that, and I feel relief. I feel a burden lifted from my shoulders. So I'm glad that I made that decision. Anyway, on Sunday, I finished reading Eden's Outcast on my Kindle about Bronson Alcott and his daughter, Louisa May. And it was really good. It was a really interesting, well-written, solid biography. I personally don't like biographies that try to psychoanalyze too much. He sort of gets tempted a little bit, but he's restrained about it. He shows restraint. So he doesn't get too heavy-handed about that. So that was good. They're both extremely interesting people in an extremely interesting time. So if you are interested in Louisa May Alcott or transcendentalism, I would recommend it. I would give it 4 stars if I was going to give stars. So I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to Little Women in December. That's the next book in the queue for A Year with Louisa May. So anyways, I'm looking forward to that, and that was a good nonfiction read for me. The next thing is I picked this up again because I had started it, and then I sort of put it aside. I didn't have enough time to be reading 2 books at one time. So I decided to pick this up before I go on to my next Kindle read, which is the one about baby boomers being sociopaths. But I thought, well, I'll get some more of this under my belt. And I really liked the intro, which was sort of metaphysical about it all. But then I'm actually having trouble with it. The first chapter is on affection. I don't know if I quite agree with his definition of affection. He's sort of, I don't think he means to reduce it, but then he goes on too long about the defects of it and how affection can turn into something that isn't really love. And he gets kind of mean about it. He goes on and on about a mother who, and maybe it's because I'm a mother and so I'm too sensitive, but he goes on and on about, this sort of manipulative mother who's kind of making herself this martyr for her children, even though they don't want her to. And it's kind of, it's a little mean-spirited. And also just the way he talks about the parent-child relationship, I feel like he maybe didn't have good relationship with his own parents. I don't think he did, because I read Surprised by Joy and another biography of him. And also I know he took care of, what's her name? Her name is escaping me. Joy. Surprised by Joy. He took care of her son after Joy passed away, but he never had his own children. I don't know. The way he talks about affection in the family as a sort of a necessary thing is, to me, not quite rich enough. I don't know if I buy his definition. And then when we moved into friendship, which is where I am now, I'm just like halfway through the chapter on friendship, I mean, he sort of admits that he only knows about friendship as a male, so he only can trace the masculine line of friendship. But I don't quite agree with his definition of friendship, because he says that you have to have two people who have something in common, and to an extent that's true. But I'm friends with people because I'm attracted to their personality, because they're funny, witty. I like their views on things. Sometimes I like to be friends with someone who's really different from me, because that challenges me and broadens my world. So I don't know if I quite buy his definition of friendship. So I'm having a rough time. I liked it when it was really philosophical, and then when he got sort of more practical about it, or more, just defining things and then giving examples of what it is and what it isn't, I find myself quibbling with him while I'm reading. So I don't know. And I don't remember that, especially the first time I read it, though I don't remember much of the book. And I'll be reading and I'll find, that I've underlined things. And, I'll think, why did I underline that? Anyway, so I'm having a so-so experience so far with this. Maybe it'll get better as it goes. I won't give up. I'm going to keep reading it. To tell you the truth, I've sort of a checkered relationship with C.S. Lewis, because I don't always love him. I did love Surprised by Joy and The Great Divorce, and what else did I just recently reread Reflections on the Psalms, which I love. I've read that twice now. I really like that. I love his book. The only fiction I like by him that I've really, really loved is Till We Have Faces. But I'm a hit or miss. I'm not all that enthralled with his fiction. And sometimes I just, like Mere Christianity, that so many people rave about, I was ho-hum. I didn't find it as convincing as so many other people seem to. So I don't know. I'm hit or miss with C.S. Lewis. But I'm going to soldier on, because I bet there's still worthwhile stuff to read in here. And I know I read it before and enjoyed it, so there must have been something there. So, and it's not like I totally disagree with everything he's saying. It's just that I think his observations are a little off, or they don't resonate 100% with me. So I'm like questioning a lot. Anyway, so that's my next, that's my current nonfiction read. And then the last thing I was going to talk about is not nonfiction at all, but I'm having the best time reading these books aloud to the little 4-year-old that I'm taking care of. And I have this book. It's My Father's Dragon by Ruth Stiles Gannett. My children read this as one of their first chapter books. Yeah, and so I found it. I thought, he might be old enough to get a chapter book, because we do lots of picture books. But to sit and listen to a chapter book is a different skill. And so you need something that's got short chapters and really captivating story, not too complex. For a little 4-year-old, he just turned 4 in October. So this is a good one for that, to sort of get kids up to speed to listening to more complex stuff. And so I read it aloud to him a couple weeks ago, and he loved it so much he immediately wanted me to read it to him again. So I read it to him twice, and that made me realize it's a trilogy, and I never had the trilogy for my own children, but I decided I would get some for him. So I did order these new, and we have since read Elmer and the Dragon. And then we're right in the middle now of The Dragons of Blue Land. In fact, this morning he got up early, and I read a couple chapters to him this morning before he went off to preschool. So I highly recommend these children's books. They're easy reading for, if your child is already reading at 6 or 7 or whenever. But they also make a good first read aloud chapter book to younger children. So I highly recommend them. We're really having a good time reading that. So anyway, that's just my update, and I guess I won't be able to record. I don't think I'm going to record until the weekend. So take care. Have a good week. See you later. Bye.